Yo guys, how are you all doing? My name is Rob of Rule of Two Review, and welcome back. So, a couple of days ago, Nintendo had their Nintendo Direct Mini for 2018, which was that big early Nintendo Direct that had so many rumors and so much hype, and Nintendo was trolling people and putting up these cryptic tweets, having fun with everybody losing their minds over all of these rumors about a Nintendo Direct. Of course, we all know it turned out to be real. Nintendo did something they really haven't ever done before, where they kind of just dropped the Nintendo Direct out of nowhere. And it's something where, because of all the rumors and the hype, it didn't really live up to a lot of people's expectations. I did discuss it on my last video. I'm sure most of you guys did watch that video, where I basically stated, hey, I thought it was totally fine for what it was. Once you kind of realize it was labeled as a Nintendo Direct Mini, and we didn't have Reggie or Bill Trinan or Koizumi or anyone else in that, it was just really a bunch of video presentations. It really should have hopefully tempered most people's expectations and realized, okay, Nintendo's just trickling out some information on some games now, but I'm sure they're going to be giving us something way more substantial soon. Now, one of the biggest conversations coming out of that Nintendo Direct wasn't a lot of the new games. It was basically a discussion about how many ports we might be seeing on the Nintendo Switch, because there was quite a few games that were announced during that Nintendo Direct Mini that did include a couple of ports, and some were pretty big surprises. I happen to think most of them are pretty cool, and I'm glad to be seeing these games coming to the console. But it is certainly something that we're seeing more and more of. And I have to tell you that after, I don't know, the first several months of the Switch, and once we started to get some more titles basically released, third-party titles, Nintendo titles released for the back half of 2017, it kind of started to make me feel like, okay, we might be done for the most part with ports, especially Wii U ports. And so by the time we get to 2018, we might not be seeing any more of those. Possibly no more ports will be coming. Again, especially Wii U ports. However, this Nintendo Direct basically confirmed that that is not the case, because there were quite a few ports, both Nintendo and third-party, that were revealed in this Direct. Now, as far as Wii U titles, there were a few key ones listed in this Direct. There was, of course, Hyrule Warriors, which nobody saw coming, and even beyond that was Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, which I don't think anyone had discussed, although I had been discussing the idea of Donkey Kong showing up in some fashion on the Switch this year, so I will definitely take a little bit of credit for that one, because I was the first one I saw anywhere bring up the idea of Donkey Kong. I more predicted a new game. I didn't even stop to think that maybe a Tropical Freeze remaster might come from the Wii U over to the Switch, but that's what Nintendo is doing, at least for now. Maybe they are still working on some other brand new Donkey Kong game. In fact, I would wager that they probably are working on a new one. And then also another big title announced was The World Ends With You, which is, while it's not a Wii U port, it is a port from the Nintendo DS, like the first DS, not the 3DS. We're going old school, like 2008. And so you got three big Nintendo or Nintendo exclusive, in the case of World Ends With You, titles that are now being ported over to the Switch in 2018. This is on top of many other games that have already been ported, like Mario Kart and Pokken and Rayman Legends and the like. And it's like, okay, we're getting a lot of Wii U and last-gen games ported over to the Switch, something that, leading up to the release of the Switch, a lot of people started to discuss, and some people totally supported. Some people were very adamantly against it. And then we also had stuff like Dark Souls recently announced at this Switch as well, at this Nintendo Direct as well, which I'm incredibly excited for. And we've had other last-gen ports come over to the console, such as LA Noire and Resident Evil Revelations. And quite honestly, I could keep on listing games at this point. There's Ultra Street Fighter, there's Lego City Undercover, there's Skyrim, and just, you know, this is just something that's been happening since the Switch reveal. And, you know, like I was saying a minute ago, I remember a huge controversy, if we want to call it a controversy, did come up, I don't know, in the months before the Switch launched. I can't remember if it was late 2016, early 2017, but around that time, before the console actually launched, there was this discussion about, will we see more Wii U ports, and should Nintendo be porting Wii U games? You know, forget the whole Dark Souls and Skyrim and Resident Evil third-party thing. Let's just focus on Wii U ports. Should Nintendo do that? Will they do that? And people were, like I was just saying a minute ago, very much split on this conversation. I remembered making a very long video kind of weighing in on this, because a lot of people thought the idea was great, because there were so many fantastic games on the Wii U specifically that some people view as trapped on that console because it didn't really sell that well and it wasn't a hit. And that is very true. You know, once we got the confirmation of Mario Kart on the Switch being a port of Mario Kart 8, which, you know, people weren't really sure of until Nintendo confirmed it. Is this Mario Kart 8 or a brand new one? And it turned out to be a port of 8. It's like, okay, well, maybe Nintendo should do more of this because, you know, we could list so many different games that were on the Wii U that maybe should come to the Switch because more people are going to buy the Switch, and it gives an opportunity for these games to have a longer life because so many of them were so epically fantastic. And then the other side of that conversation was, okay, too many ports is not a good thing. It shows a lack of creativity, a lack of vision. It shows that Nintendo maybe is being lazy, or maybe they're not ready to release this console because they won't have other games ready to give us. And I really do think that there was merit to both sides of that conversation. Now, here we are, January 2018. We just got confirmation of more ports. I mean, Bayonetta 2, by the way, Bayonetta's 1 and 2 also recently confirmed at the Game Awards as also coming over to the Switch. So more and more Wii U games and a handful of third-party games are coming to the Switch. And so I kind of wanted to weigh in on my thoughts now that it's been almost a year since the Switch is released, and how do I think about the idea of these ports, and do they signify that Nintendo doesn't have a lot of games to give us? And overall, like my blanket kind of knee-jerk reaction to the idea is that I think it's fine. I'm actually not feeling very negative or bad about the idea of Nintendo bringing so many ports, Wii U, third party, or whatever. At this point, almost a year into the Switch, I feel like it's probably completely okay. And the main reason is because I think Nintendo impressed the hell out of all of us with how many games and how much software it was ready to give us in just the first year of the Switch alone. I mean, let's be real, guys. If we didn't have a brand new Zelda, a brand new Mario, a brand new IP in ARMS, a sequel to Splatoon, and a Xenoblade Chronicles, and then all the other indie games and some of the great big third-party games that started to show up, if we didn't have all those games coming from Nintendo and other companies in 2017, maybe I would see more ports getting announced as a big problem. However, looking at that spectacular lineup and all the effort Nintendo put into not only just the quality of the Switch itself, but the quality of that library, first party and otherwise, I feel like Nintendo really was ready and prepared to launch this console, and it shows me that Nintendo is firing on all cylinders, and they probably have a lot more great games to show us. And so at this point, I think that using the success of the Switch to bring some of these Wii U titles over, I think is actually a good thing, because now it's like, okay, the Switch is in so many people's homes, and there is so much truth to that defense of these Wii U titles being trapped on that console. As much as I love the Wii U, there are so many games that are trapped on that console. It's a very true thing. So why not take advantage and bring some of these games over? And it does give Nintendo, some people might not like this, but it does give Nintendo the ability to space out some of their other key titles, because they might not have as many great titles to release in 2018. I know we can expect a few. We already have confirmation of a couple, but maybe they don't have as many as they did in 2017. So you bring over a Donkey Kong, you bring over a Bayonetta, you bring over a Hyrule Warriors, and then there's a myriad other games that they could do this with. You bring these games over, Smash Brothers, for example, and you can kind of pepper those in between your other big first-party releases, as well as other third-party games that are probably going to continue to come. So I think that it's really nothing but a win, and I'm calling it a win only because Nintendo has already proven to me, and I think proven to everybody, that they have a lot of software to give us. They have a lot of support to give the Switch. I don't think we're going to get a barren 2018. I think Nintendo is absolutely going to be giving us a lot more great games, first-party, in 2018. We already know Kirby is coming in a couple of months. Yoshi is going to be released. Fire Emblem, I'm sure, will make it out in 2018. And we have so many other great titles to expect, and some of them may be 2018, some of them won't be. And when it comes, bringing it back to this Nintendo Direct thing here, like I said, just because they gave us this mini Direct last week and people feel like, oh my god, there's no more games to show, you guys, Nintendo is going to give us so many more things in 2018. This wasn't the be-all, end-all for Nintendo's 2018 lineup. This Nintendo Direct Mini wasn't saying, well, we're Nintendo, this is all we have to give you guys, so here's a couple of crappy games and some remasters of last-gen games. Have fun with those. No, they're going to give us another Nintendo Direct in a couple of months. They're going to drop more games at E3. They're going to give us more stuff in the fall, and trust me, by the time, you know, October and November 2018 is rolling around, there will be so many brand new Switch games out to play that are going to be great from Nintendo and otherwise, that it's not going to be an issue. So just be patient And just know that I think Nintendo is kind of giving 2018 a soft launch, I think, with this Mini. I think that's what they were doing. It's just a soft reboot of 2018. They're going to trickle out stuff. Here's a couple of little tidbits early on, and by maybe February or March, they give us another Nintendo Direct. Probably more like March or April is my guess. And then it's like, oh, here are some of the big guns. Now we're going to find out when Yoshi and Fire Emblem are coming. Maybe then we're going to get a brand new game like an Animal Crossing or an F-Zero or a Smash Brothers. You know, and then, you know, some of these other third-party games that are rumored. Maybe Grand Theft Auto 5 does come, and that's when they announce it. I mean, it's going to be fine. And so to me, the Wii U ports and some of these other last-gen third-party ports, it's all stuff that I think is really just meant to complement the Switch's library and the Switch's 2018 as of right now. Give Nintendo time to show us more stuff. For now, it's just a couple of small things to get us excited. And for people who never played some of these fantastic Wii U games, they're going to have an opportunity to in 2018, because I think Nintendo is playing it smart by bringing some of them over to the Switch. So yeah, there you go. Those are my true thoughts on what's happening with the port situation. Overall, as you can tell, I'm just not that mad about it. And I should end here by saying I do still understand some people who are unhappy about it. I don't want to completely dismiss those opinions and those feelings. I think that's the wrong thing to do, and hopefully anyone who feels that way made it all the way to the end of this video to hear me state this. But I do understand to a degree the idea of thinking, oh my god, I already have these games on the Wii U and I bought the Switch and Nintendo's giving us so many of these games, and so why did I buy the Switch? Or maybe somebody who hasn't yet picked up the Switch is worried about all of these ports and stating, hey, it's not worth it for me to buy the Switch because I have these games or I don't care about these games. And if that's the case, I mean, I guess no one can really change your mind, but I would still beg you to look at the overall picture of the Switch and tell me, with all these amazing 2017 games that weren't ports, how can you not still be enticed with the Switch? Or if you do have one now, how can you not still see the Switch as worth your investment based on all of these games that already existed? And to think that this Direct has showed you that that's it, Nintendo's done with new games, it's just all ports from here on out, I think that that is totally small-minded and just tunnel vision, and it's not healthy. And Nintendo has given us no reason to believe that that is all they're going to give us in 2018 just because of this Nintendo Direct Mini. Look at the first year of the Switch and tell me that that's the Nintendo that we're looking at nowadays. Come on, guys, they're going to give us so many more great things. So that's it. That's how I feel about the ports and the Direct and the Wii U thing and the third-party stuff and the Dark Souls remaster, which I'm so excited for. And so I want to hear you guys talk about this. Are you on the side of being angry about the ports, or are you on the side of being supportive of the ports? Or maybe you're just ambivalent and in the middle and kind of don't really care, which is probably even more my opinion than being so, you know, pro-port. It's more about, I kind of just don't care. I don't think it's a sign that Nintendo is giving us no more games in 2018. I just think that everything is going to be totally fine. So those are my thoughts. I want to hear you guys discuss your thoughts, and that'll be it for today. So thanks as always for tuning in, guys. This is Rob of Rule of Two Review, and I'll catch you guys next time on another video.